The end. Ah! Actually, fuck you, this isn't the end.
It was the next day, brothers, and I had truly done my best morning and afternoon to play it their way and sit like a horror show cooperative malchick in the chair of torture while they flashed nasty bits of ultra-violence on the screen. Though not on the soundtrack, my brothers, the only sound being music. Then I noticed, in all my pain and sickness, what music it was.
Me, 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 me. We. Are you ready to karaoke? I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me. You're gonna hear me. What you need me? You know I got it. R-E-S-P-C-T. Find out what it means to me. Pizza or burgers? 1, 2, 3. Burgers. What? Oh, let's do it one more. 90% of emojis are useless. Oh, I strongly disapprove. I see reasons to use them. Are you going to run for president?
This is the perfect show for me to finally answer.
Wow.
Time for the rabbit hole. It's time for today's rabbit hole. Today, we are talking about that weird thing that you do that's been really annoying me. Whatever it is, stop fucking doing it.
You probably have quite a few opinions about what's going on in the news cycle right now. But it's important to remember one thing. You're wrong. Here's why. To start, you're completely missing the point, and everything you think is actually at odds with reality when you look at the data. In fact, you're nowhere close to being accurate. It's simple to understand when you stop for a second and actually look at the issues. Once you open your eyes, you'll see that you're wrong about each and every one of them. Wrong, 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 wrong. But what about this other thing I heard? No. If the past is any indication of the future, not only is there no chance that you'll ever be right, all signs suggest you will never even come close once in your lifetime. The only way you'll ever be right is to repeat everything I say, word for word, to every single person you know. Until then, you're wrong.
So, what are we gonna talk about then today? Again, today? So, what are we gonna talk about today then, Wolf? Today, we are going to talk about assisted sewer slides. Chronic pain, depression, the heaviness of life. Any of these things ringing a bell? Well, lucky for you, there's an option you might not have thought about. In Canada, assisting people onto the metaphorical slide to the sewer has become one of the leading causes of not being alive, surpassing even unliving from undriving cars and getting sick from expiring from pneumonia. And it's not just people who are terminally ill that this is being offered to. It's now being offered to people who have no physical issues, as in, they are just sad. And these fucking quacks are like, hello human, we represent a slippery slope. Step down this sewer slide. Quack. This is an excerpt from a debate, which I just linked at the time of me writing this on my Telegram in the Conspiracies Only subcategory. From the National Library of Medicine. This debate piece is by a renowned doctor, and he makes a whole bunch of points, but I'm going to first read from one category titled Slippery Slope. And bear in mind, this is old, and every single thing described is currently happening in Canada. Okay, here we go. By the way, I edited everything so that it doesn't break the stupid YouTube rules. I love censorship. Freedom of speech sucks, and I would never do it. All hail Google. The slippery slope argument, if your name is Ethan, I'm sorry. One of the issues brought up in the debate over physician-assisted sewering slides is the slippery slope argument. If physician-assisted slewering slide is made legal, then other things will follow, with the final end being the legalizing of euthanasia for anyone, for any reason, or no reason. The experience of other countries shows that this is not theoretical. The Netherlands is an example of the slippery slope on which legalizing physician-assisted slewer slide puts us in the 1980s. The Dutch government stopped prosecuting physicians who committed voluntary euthanasia on their patients. Jackson 2013 931-932. Patel and Rashevsky 2015 32-33. By the 1990s, over 50% of acts of euthanasia were no longer voluntary. This is according to the 1991 Remmelink report, a study on euthanasia requested by the Dutch government and conducted by the Dutch Committee to study the medical practice concerning euthanasia. Euthanasia.com 2014, Patients' Rights Council 2013, Vandermaas et al. 1991. In 2001, euthanasia was made legal, and in 2004, it was decided that children also could be euthanized. According to Wesley Smith, in a Weekly Standard article in 2004, in the Netherlands, Groningen University Hospital has decided its doctors will euthanize children under the age of 12. If doctors believe their suffering is intolerable or if they have an incurable illness. The hospital then developed the Groningen Protocol to decide who should die, Smith comments. It took the Dutch almost 30 years for their medical practices to fall to the point that Dutch doctors are able to engage in the kind of euthanasia activities that got some German doctors hanged after Nuremberg. For those who object to this assertion by claiming that German doctors unalived disabled babies during World War II without consent of parents, so too do many Dutch doctors. Approximately 21% of the infant euthanasia deaths occurred without request or consent of parents. Smith, 2004. Euthanasia in the Netherlands went from illegal but not prosecuted to legal to including children, and it is not stopping there. Schradenberg, 2013. In 2011, when this article was written, remember, it's way worse now. Radio Netherlands reported that, quote, the Dutch Physicians Association, KNMG, says unbearable and lasting suffering should not be the only criteria physicians consider when a patient requests to be euthanized. The association published a new set of guidelines, which says a combination of social factors and diseases and ailments. Bruh, straight up, this is Margaret Sanger rhetoric. First they came for the babies, now they're coming for children. A combination of social factors that are not terminal may also qualify as unbearable and lasting suffering under the Euthanasia Act. These social factors include decline in other areas of life such as financial resources, social network, and social skills. R&W 2011. So, a person with non-life-threatening health problems but who is a poor or lonely can request to be euthanized. In another example of the slippery slope to which physician-assisted sewer slide leads, in 2002, Belgium legalized euthanization for competent adults and emancipated minors. In February of 2014, Belgium took the next step. Belgium legalized euthanasia by lethal injection for children. Young children will be allowed to end their lives with the help of a doctor in the world's most radical extension of an euthanasia law. Young children will be allowed to end their lives with the help of doctors in the world's most radical extension of an euthanasia law. Under the law, there is no age limit to minors who can seek a lethal injection. And under the law, parents must agree with the decision. Patients' Rights Council 2013b. Some say that the U.S. state laws concerning physician-assisted sewering slides are very restrictive, and so there is no chance of erosion such as has happened in the Netherlands or Belgium. Intelligence Squared 2014b 34. Yet, if there is no moral philosophical basis for PAS laws in the common good, then there is no telling how far changes to PAS laws will go in the future, and no stopping the changes. And the next category is the pain can be alleviated argument. In medicine, we talk much these days about a good unaliving, not necessarily one that is completely free of suffering, but a stopping to live process in which we are attendant to pain and symptom management, optimize clear decision making, and affirm the whole person in as dignified a manner as possible. Importantly, this can often be effectively accomplished through incorporation of palliative care services. Palliative care is a healing act adjusted to the good possible even in the face of the realities of an incurable illness. Cure may be futile, but care is never futile. Pellegrino, 2001. With appropriate utilization of palliative care, far fewer patients would be driven by fear to request that physicians actively end their lives via PAS/E. Proponents of assisted sewer slide, O-Reno, and euthanasia posit the scenario of uncontrollable pain as a straw man for advancing their cause. Such proponents apparently view not being alive as the ultimate analgesic. In fact, in medical practice today, pain relief is almost always possible given modern therapeutics in analgesia and the medical specialty of pain management. Since pain can be alleviated, there is no basis to assert a need for PAS because of intractable pain. This may explain in part why many requests for PAS are no longer related to or initiated because of intolerable pain, but because of fear of such intolerable pain. Further, closely related to a patient's fear of intolerable pain, and sometimes associated with a patient's fear of being abandoned, Coyle 2004, is a patient's request for PAS because of not wanting to burden others. This too poses a curious contradiction, for on the one hand, there is not wanting to be a burden on a loved one, and on the other hand, a fear of being alone and abandoned. Such a contradiction, once considered and coupled with the fact that pain can be addressed successfully through optimal palliative care implementation, enhances the power of this argument against PAS/E. That's physician-assisted sewer sliding and euthanasia, by the way. The Oregon law was enacted on the basis of intolerable pain. No one should be forced to endure pain that is uncontrollable and unendurable. Most of us can sympathize with that. But the law is not restricted to pain, and it is not pain that is the top reason people choose physician-assisted sewer sliding in Oregon. The state's Stop Living with Dignity Act annual report. Wow, that sounds so bad when you say it like that. The Stop Living with Dignity Act annual Anunnaki report for 2014 shows that the top reason patients opt for physician-assisted sewer sliding is, quote, losing autonomy. Oregon Public Health Division 2015-5. Concern about pain was not even the second or third reason. Above it were, quote, less able to engage in activities making life enjoyable, and, quote, loss of dignity. It was ranked 6th out of 7, above only financial concerns, and included not only inadequate pain control, but also concern about it. These patients were not necessarily in uncontrollable pain themselves. However, they were concerned about it, as are we. But even that concern did not rank high on their list of reasons that they wanted to commit sewer slide. Even if the line drawn is unbearable pain, how can that be restricted to only physical pain? Who can judge that mental anguish is not unbearable pain? Or that economic distress or anything else that causes anguish is not unbearable pain? Are you beginning to understand how fucked up this logic is yet? Okay, we got one more category from this debate that I'm going to cover. By the way, these doctors who posited these arguments I'm reading, yeah, they won the debate, and it's published in the National Library of Medicine. Look it up. Link on my Telegram. This was on the front page of Google when I Googled assisted sewer slide. Okay, here we go. Duh! Physician integrity and patient trust argument. When a patient asks a physician to assist in unaliving him or herself, not only is there disrespect shown to the physician's integrity, but a contradiction is created. Asking a physician to participate in PAS undermines the principled ethic and integrity of the physician whose noble profession is defined as one of compassionate service of the patient who is vulnerable. Wounded, sick, alone, alienated, or afraid, and undermines the integrity or wholesomeness of the patient who him or herself is in desperate need of trying to achieve. To ask and expect a physician to participate in the destructive act of sewer slide violates both personal and professional integrity of the physician and leaves both the patient and the physician at risk for moral confusion about what is good, true, and beautiful about the human person. The threat of euthanasia posed by legalizing PAS also undermines trust between physician and patient. Both euthanasia and physician-assisted sewer slide would undermine the medical profession by eroding the trust of patients in their physicians as caregivers. If doctors were permitted to engage in practices that harm their patients, then patients would never know if their doctors were truly acting in their best interests. Austriaco, 2011-148. Will your doctors unalive you if he or she thinks you are too ill or in too much pain or unconscious? The oath of Hippocrates has guided physicians for 2,400 years. The oath states, I will apply dietetic measures for the benefit of the sick according to my ability and judgment. I will keep them from harm and injustice. I will neither give a unalively drug to anyone who asked for it, nor will I make a suggestion to this effect. Similarly, I will not give to a woman an abortive remedy. Tyson, 2001. Even with all the advances in medicine over the last 100 to 200 years, the public perception is still that the Hippocratic Oath is an important indicator that the patient, in his or her vulnerabilities, can put trust in the physician. Lederer, 1999-102. Euthanasia by healthcare professionals undermines that trust. Lack of trust is not just something that may or may not happen if euthanasia is legalized. It is happening in countries that have legalized euthanasia. Austriaco points out that many Dutch patients, before they will check themselves into hospitals, insist on writing contracts, assuring that they will not be unalived without their explicit consent. Austriaco, 2011-148. As stated earlier, in the 1980s, the Dutch government stopped prosecuting physicians who committed voluntary euthanasia on their patients. By the 1990s, over 50% of acts of euthanasia were no longer voluntary. This has had a deleterious This has had a deleterious effect on the relationship of patients to healthcare professionals. An article in 2011 in The Telegraph, a newspaper in the UK, stated that elderly people in the Netherlands are so fearful of being unalived by doctors that they carry cards saying that they do not want euthanasia. Beckford, 2011. The Dutch elderly do not trust their own doctors. Trust is not the only issue concerning the integrity of medicine. PAS also calls into question the very ends of medicine to cure and to care. Christopher Saliga, a nurse, explains that one can rightly say that in Oregon, the balance has shifted such that respect for autonomy currently has greater weight among the principles hanging in the balance than it had prior to the legalization of assisted sewer slide. As a result, the contradictory patient outcomes of life and death via continued care or willful sewer slide, respectively, are considered equally valid. Saliga, 2005, 22-23. Medicine and the medical profession traditionally aimed at curing and healing. Assisting in a sewer slide is neither cure nor healing. It pits the medical profession against itself. Curing and caring versus stopping life. So there you have it. They won the debate, so I don't have to. Like I said, if you want to read the whole thing, look it up on my Telegram. This episode was so long and exhausting to produce. Stay cursed. I'm out. Bang! Whoopsie. Are they home? Dying.
Singing the blues. All right, thank you very much.
You lied to me. You told me if I gave you $60, you'd wait till Sunday, and I'd give me the other. And you said you would be here in 10 minutes. You lied to me. You treat me like shit. You think I'm horrible. You think I'm worthless. I'm nothing. I'm a human being, and I love you.